this going. All right, we are all set. I basically will become the moderator, and the goal behind these things is obviously right now social distancing is obviously not kind of like a requirement and a mandate throughout the globe. Some places more than others, and of course in North Carolina, we want to respect that while at least keeping our healthcare and medical office still in place. And so one of the reasons why we did this is because, just to constantly educate our community has always been one of our big transparent values. But I think what I see now is we're just getting a lot more information overload. And if you kind of look at what's happening, you're starting to see things where it's like, I can't believe people are starting to say that in a good way, but also sometimes in a bad way. It's misleading. So what I want to do with these types of weekly Tele Talks is to make it, just a little bit of not novel, but just to bring people back to the basics, because right now we're just constantly inundated with a lot of chronic stress. And let's face it, before February, there was still a lot of chronic stress. It was just in a different way. So our lifestyles have obviously changed. People make reflections on how this is the new world, and things are going to be a new normal. And so when Melanie and I were kind of creating some agendas, we said, all right, let's start with the basic one is just, hey, what can people do better with putting stuff in their mouth?
Yeah.
Or not in their mouth? And what can people do with headspace? Like, just what can we do with our mindset? Because there are a lot of things that are very much in our control, as there are things that are not in our control. So whether we catch the COVID-19 virus or not, those might not necessarily be 100% in our control, but what we do have control of is how do we react to it? And how can we start to build an internal resistance to it? Whether we believe it or not, it comes down to how can we become an unhospitable host? And so today's topics are basically food, fun, which to me is kind of laughter, and then meditation, right? So, and I think, Melanie, what do you think? Anything big picture wise?
Yeah, really, you covered it. I think a lot of people are just so focused on the stress of it all and being inundated with all of this really intense, mostly negative information that sometimes it helps to just take a step back and put things in perspective and take control over what we can take control over.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we always feel like things are so out of control that we don't think about the little things that we can impact and that we can take it onto our own hands.
So let's start with that. So you're our nutritional therapist. In fact, some of your videos, you always introduce yourself as the nutritional console. And I don't know if you say like consult or consulate, but you're the person in charge of, kind of taking care of people of various stages of their health and whether they have chronic disease or not. So what are you thinking right now in terms of food? What can we be doing better?
Really just eating the rainbow, to put it as simply as possible. We need to be eating our vitamins and minerals, and we need to be shopping mindfully and everything. A lot of creativity with, shelf-stable stuff, unfortunately, but learning what we can and shouldn't eat so much of, especially if we're not as active as we might normally be. And then also purposefully eating specific foods that can help reduce your stress levels and really give you the energy and nutrients that you need so that you can deal with things as best as possible.
Okay, so the floor is yours. Tell us what we're eating.
Cool. So spinach is one of my favorite go-tos for stress-reducing foods. It's incredibly high in magnesium, which is a mineral that promotes calmness. It's also really high in protein, which nobody really considers when they think of spinach. And then also a really pretty high source of fiber. So it gives you the energy, it gives you the protein, and it keeps you calm, but it gives you the energy to kind of get through things. And you can always have it cooked. You can put it in smoothies. You can eat it raw in a salad. Like spinach is pretty, widely applicable for a lot of things. The next thing that I want to touch base about is omega-3s in particular. Salmon is a really great source of omegas. It jumpstarts serotonin production, which is like a happy hormone, essentially. It also helps your brain produce DHA. So you're going to be able to mentally process things a little bit better, keeps you mentally clear so that you can deal with things, on a more regular level rather than always being really tense and up high like that. Walnuts are another really good source of brain food, essentially. And if you can feed your brain, then you're going to be able to just deal with everything a lot better and ease some tensions that way. That being said, nuts and seeds in general are pretty high in omegas, really healthy fats, and then also specific stress hormone reduction and happy hormone production. So things like dopamine, serotonin, all of that kind of stuff. When you eat a lot of nuts and seeds, specifically things like pistachios or sesame seeds, it really makes your body kind of kick things into overdrive. And they're really considered like happy foods, and specifically like stress relieving foods, which I always thought was super cool. One thing that people think of a lot of times with turkey and tryptophan over Thanksgiving holidays, when you're in a tryptophan coma and you've just eaten way too much. Tryptophan is actually an amino acid in turkey, cashews, sunflower seeds, those kinds of things that makes you really calm down and also increases serotonin production. So it's really a great mood stabilizing option that you can incorporate any way you want. You can put it on salads, you can make sandwiches, like easy stuff while you're at home.
And then in terms of turkey, I mean, is it any specific style?
No, totally. Like turkey just has this specific amino acid in the protein. And then also like I said, cashews and sunflower seeds are pretty high too. So really like any kind that you're into, light or dark, whatever, like it doesn't matter how you cook it.
Cool. Awesome. So the rainbow color, definitely spinach, omega-3s, foods with tryptophan. Any other things that highlight that?
Keep this in moderation, of course, but dark chocolate is also a really great source of magnesium, and it helps produce dopamine. So it's definitely a happy food. That's why a lot of people crave chocolate when they're stressed out. Don't eat, 5 bars of it, but if you want to break off a few squares, go for it. It might help you feel better.
Nice. I've got 2 things to add on that list, and some of it is just now becoming less controversial than it has been. So, I just saw, of course, my office in New York is closed, but the New York Post, my employees are keeping me updated. And this is about vitamin C, because vitamin C in small doses has always been considered an antioxidant, right? And so there's lots of food sources of vitamin C, and then there's vitamins that people would get over the counter. But this one just came out in the New York Post. This was March 24th. And it basically said that, and this is for the treatment of coronavirus, and it said that seriously sick coronavirus patients in New York State's largest hospital system are being given massive doses of vitamin C, and they're finding that this identical amounts of this powerful antioxidant, if they're given 2 to 3 times a day, has resolved 100% of symptoms within 48 hours. So this is now vitamin C, right?
And especially when you're really stressed out, it actually can deplete your immune system. That's why a lot of times when you're stressed and you're in it and you're in the trenches, you normally end up getting sick because you're so stressed out that you're essentially immunocompromised.
Yep, there you go.
So foods for vitamin C, kiwis are something people always forget about, but they're crazy high in vitamin C. And any kind of citrus fruit, obviously, and berries in particular, really high in antioxidants and vitamin C too. Plus, we're going to start doing that IV vitamin C treatment pretty soon. So that'll be really exciting.
Yep, that's right. And then vitamin D was the last thing. And it was so funny because and it literally, the title says surprising admission by CDC chief about vitamin D, because the thing that the CDC and our government, and, if we want to go down this road, pharmaceutical companies, we're always against vitamin D, is because of all the claims that people were making that, hey, vitamin D supplementation cured me of this, cured me of that. And they made it very clear that the science may support the possibility, although it won't show proof, that vitamin D strengthens the immune system, especially in people whose vitamin D levels are low. So if we're looking at the Northeast, right, that don't get sun for 6 months or 4 to 6 months out of the year, and people who just don't walk out in the sunlight. I mean, obviously we're all in Raleigh, so the weather right now is beautiful. But when this virus was really, really spreading, what was the weather like? Right? It was dark, it was gloomy, it was rainy. And what they're showing now, and they put in there that with the COVID-19 people, that the inflammation level, what's really causing this thing to spread. Like, it comes here, but then it spreads really quickly because of the inflammation. And so vitamin B was the last thing I had on my list, just to remind people that 15 minutes a day of sunlight gives you a really good daily dosage of vitamin D. Because where are we getting this with food? How much vitamin D are we getting from food?
Plus, you really need vitamin D to absorb other fat-soluble nutrients. It's kind of like a helper vitamin. So.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, that's what I had with food. I said, let's move on to fun. And then we'll finish up with meditation. So for me, when I think about fun, like I remember my parents growing up, when they moved here from India, they always said, like, laughter is the best medicine. And I think that's because my dad, when we moved here, he always used to read Reader's Digest. And I think they had a section in it that always said laughter is the best medicine. So I pulled up the science behind laughter, and it was actually like, and I'm not saying, hey, we should just laugh at everything, because obviously this isn't necessarily the best time to be joking. But at the same time, let's face it, we can't forget that laughter has a lot of benefits. So I actually pulled up this actual study, and I'm actually going to share the screen with everyone, because it's just funny that in this country we have to research the benefits of laughter. So I think all you can see on that screen, right? So it says the physical health benefits of laughter. It boosts immunity, it lowers stress hormone, decreases pain, relaxes muscles, prevents heart disease. That's the 5 big things that people have seen in the research that show the benefits of laughter, right? I think there's more benefits to that. Let's face it, that's what they've got right now. So just look at the top 2, boosting immunity, lower stress hormones. I mean, everyone really needs that right now. Take a look at the bottom of that page where it says the mental health benefits, adds joy and zest to life, eases anxiety and tension. Again, let's face it, it's going to help with a lot of stress and mood, and helps boost your resilience. Social benefits, again, right now with social distancing, we're not really doing that. But I thought it was kind of funny that how much research is actually in of what the benefits of laughter are. Melanie, I have learned this about you recently, but you're actually pretty funny. Any particular things that you do just to create more joy and fun?
You just gotta roll with the punches. You can't sweat the small stuff. I don't know how many of those books there are, but
Yeah.
but really, that was definitely something that took me a while to learn. But
cool. And then I've got people who know me know that I'm not really big into comedy movies, but I actually love laughing so much, and I always try to play jokes and pranks on people. I was just kind of writing down a list of all right, what do I do to make myself surrounded by fun? And I remember reading all of the not all, but hearing Mark Victor Hansen and the Chicken Soup for the Soul guys, right? The 2 guys that wrote those books, and they said, hey, if you want to seriously see who and what is going on in your life, look at the 5 people that you surround yourself the most. All right, whether that's finances, whether that's your fun activity, whether it's your health, whether it's your success in relationships. And so when it comes to the laughter thing, it's like, all right, I tend to hang around myself with a lot of positive people. I tend to hang around a lot of people that bring me up and to lighten the room when they come in, rather than those that lighten the room when you leave. Right. So that's the biggest thing that I had. For those of you that have pets, obviously this is a great time to have fun with your pets. I get, dogs are getting a lot of love and treatment right now. Cats are getting a lot of love with people being home. For me, I spoiled myself when I moved from New York. We got chickens, and so for any of you that are on this call that are into chickens, that is like one of the best TVs to watch is chicken. Is to watch chickens running
They're
around.
very entertaining. Yeah.
Yep. And of course, a lot of the fun time activities you can't obviously do, like, whatever, you could probably do some hiking and doing other fun activities, as long as you're not violating any of the Umstead Park and all the restrictions right now. Anything else, Melanie, that you do with fun?
I am aware now they actually have created some online games, like in a Zoom kind of environment. I know my sister had a Cards Against Humanity showdown kind of thing with a bunch of her friends the other night, and they like set up kind of a mocktail hour and got online through Cards Against Humanity and played online, which is super cool.
Cool.
It's like old school online poker, but not.
Yeah.
Going outside, pollen is a little rough right now, but definitely, like you said, like getting some sun, taking the dogs for a walk. And I don't know about you, but my dogs go crazy and they'll roll around like horses outside. So it's definitely something to laugh at.
And there's a lot of people now that are either struggling with workload or don't have work, or they're modifying their workload to work from home. The one thing you don't want to do is binge watch a lot of stuff. But I got to say, just to keep myself a little bit more positive than I already usually am, I have started watching a show every night, and I only watch one episode. And I know this show's been around for a long time, but it's been discontinued forever. It's called The Office. And so I just started getting into The Office, and oh my goodness, it's hilarious. Even
Yeah.
the jokes are a little bit outdated. It's just fun and
Yeah,
stuff. So again,
exactly.
that was the last thing on my list, that, hey, if you are going to watch TV, like, I get it, if some people need to stay informed, they need to be watching the news at some capacity, but I balance it out with watching The Office.
Definitely, yeah. Keep it in moderation. I think that's just generally the life goal, is everything in moderation, right?
Cool. All right, so we talked about food, we talked about fun. Last but not least is meditation. So Melanie, I'll let you start. What do you got on this thing?
I actually took a few classes in college from a meditation specialist, which was super cool. We kind of did things on the side, and she was really, really fantastic. She had some great training. So it kind of opened my eyes to the fact that meditation is not just sitting cross-legged on the floor and humming. I feel like a lot of people have that preconception that that's what it is and that's what you do. But especially with how busy we are, sometimes it's really difficult to sit there and clear your mind. That's one of the hardest things that we have to do. So doing different kinds of meditations can really open the door for people, like doing walking meditations where there's actually like guided pathways that you'll walk around. Doing body scan meditations. I have a really, really great voice recording of my meditation guide doing a body scan guided meditation, which is super cool visualization technique to really bring your mind back to your breath and just take things down a notch and really calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be happy to share that. I've already shared it with a few people, and it's definitely awesome.
Yeah.
But different things like that, just kind of help you gain perspective and take a time out.
Hey, welcome to the Brown Bar. My name's Lily. How can I help you?
I got my comedy skit coming up soon. This was actually shared to me by someone who's on the call, so she has no idea that I'm going to play it soon. But I'm going to put that on pause for a second. So sorry to disturb.
No, you're fine.
So the thing with about meditation, and again, like one of my big leaders or heroes that I follow is a guy by the name of Joe Mercola. And so he kind of collects a lot of data and puts it on his website. And of course, he always adds his own commentary. But I have not researched meditation in a long time. Like, we do it on a regular basis because for me, it's, there's either mindfulness or there's this self-induced transcendence style that we do. But for me, like, it's just getting barefoot in grass. That was always something taught by my grandparents in India. That was their way of decompressing after being in your all day in your leather shoes and working and constantly being in alpha and beta mode in your brain. So my form of meditation has always been going barefoot in the grass and just sitting outside and just closing my mind off of things and just kind of being present with nature. So when I got on Mercola's website the other day, it pretty much showed that, like, now they have shown that people who meditate anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes regularly on a daily schedule have shown brain imaging that changes their brain. And so here's the two things that they've shown. Long-term meditation alters the structure of your cerebral cortex. So that's the outer layer of your brain. And then it also shows thicker areas of the brain that is the parts of the brain associated with attention and sensory processing. So your ability to be present in space is actually improved with meditation. But this was my favorite part. This is the third part that relates to the society that we're living in now, is what it does to your nervous system. Right? So as a chiropractor, we're all about the brain, the spinal cord, the nervous system, and making sure that we live in a balance, right, between your sympathetic fight or flight and your parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, your healing mode. And where are we now? We're in a lot of fight or flight mode, where what we need to be is to be a little bit more into that mode. And so this is what it said: meditation de-excites your nervous system rather than exciting it further. It makes it more orderly, and it allows your left brain and right brain to connect better. And it was talking about, like, where, and this is something, Melanie, I've heard forever, is that people can't shut their brain off. So it's almost like that, like, I can't meditate because I can't turn my brain off. Well,
Yeah.
that's actually a part of it. That's actually a part of the process, is you eventually tapping into a certain layer of consciousness that allows your left and right hemispheres to rebalance and strengthen that connection. So it's actually saying that, hey, if you're having a hard time shutting your brain off, that's actually a part of the meditation benefits.
Yeah.
Keep doing that, because that's when you start tapping into that creative problem solving, being more
And just like self-awareness and self-control to
Yep.
be able to just say, nope, I'm taking a time out right now.
Yes, exactly. So that was it. That was all I had on meditation. Melanie, anything that you particularly had?
Yeah, actually, about grounding, like what you're saying, going barefoot in the dirt, there's actually a lot of scientific studies about grounding and how, as human beings, we're mostly water, and we are so conductive to negative electricity and negative ions and everything that when we walk around in leather shoes, like you said, or sneakers that are rubber, we're not releasing any of that. And which is where you get like the static and that kind of thing. But you can also get a lot of inflammation from it.
Okay.
So when you're grounding, it actually helps draw all of that out and kind of drain your body from all of the negativity, like the negative electrons and everything, which is super, super cool.
Cool. Awesome. And none of this stuff is new. It's been around forever.
Nope. Yeah.
All right. So we talked about food a little bit. We talked about having some fun and laughing. And then we talked about meditation. What I want to end with, because it's at 3:25, and I promised it would end at 3:30. And then what we want to do, since we have a small group with us, is just kind of leave it open for any Q&A. So right now I've got everyone on mute. But one of the people that actually joined us in the call sent me this video, or sent me this link just a day or 2 days ago. And again, I'm kind of inundating myself with positivity and love and light and laughter. And this one was a selection of a few comedians, and they happened to be in the brown world, in the Indian world. And so they made a spoof on Apple's take on the Genius Bar, right? So when you go to a store, an Apple, it's called the Genius Bar, and this is called the Brown Bar. And so I want to go ahead and share this. It's about 3.5, 4 minutes long. Totally worth watching. And if it doesn't make you laugh, then I apologize. If it does, good. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and play that. There we go. And that should. And Melanie, you should be able to see my screen, right?
Yep.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play it.
I heard a coworker telling another coworker that I'm still saying her name wrong. I've been working with poor Nema for 3 years.
Good on you for trying to learn. It's pronounced Purnama.
Purnana.
Purnama.
Puram.
Purnama.
Purnamnama.
Purnama.
Nanapu.
Purnama.
Oh, Purnama.
Yes, there it is.
Got it. Purnama.
Now.
I don't know why my girlfriend is mad at me.
99% of the time, it's not that your brown girlfriend is defective, it's that you don't know how to treat her right.
Well, all I did was ask her to teach me how to speak Indian.
Where are you from?
Canada?
Do you speak Canadian?
No, I speak English, obviously.
Obviously.
Oh, I get it. Indian isn't a language, is it?
There you go. What can I help you with?
Should I ask her to teach me how to speak Hindu?
Sit down.
I'd like to return some advice you sold me earlier.
What was the advice?
To accept my son's decision to pursue music.
The reason for return.
What will people say?
It's your 10th one today.
I got an invitation to my friend Joyti's wedding, but I think there's a typo. It says there's 4 different events.
Yeah, there is a typo. There are actually 14 different events.
Hi, again. How may I help you this time?
Yes, I'm looking for support for finding a wife for my son. Are you single?
Jay, your mom's here again.
Mom, you can't keep doing this.
I'm depressed. And I told my parents I need to see a therapist, but they just said I need to drink more water. You're going to need to be more assertive, all right? Here, let's role play a little bit, all right? Lily, come here for a second. I'll be your dad, and you be this kid's mother, okay?
Sure. What's your name?
Ajay.
Ajay, go to your room.
Okay, tell us you need to talk. Mom, Dad, I need to talk about... Ajay, shut up, we're busy. Okay, I'll just...
No, Ajay, search yourself.
Come on, get in there, Ajay. No, I need to talk now. I need you to listen.
No, I need you to bloody listen, okay? Why the bloody hell you wearing shoes in the house, huh?
I'm not just asking you a question. Hey, shut up. Oh, that's enough. I just... Look, help. I even found doctors in our area. You need help from the rapist?
Oh my God, my son hanging out with the rapist.
I need a therapist. For what? You have a home, a house, a place to rest your head. You have an iPhone, a Nintendo, a refrigerator with food in it, eggs, bread, cheese, mutton, butter, ghee. I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe Epstein killed himself. This is everything. Why you're sad?
Too much internet, that's why.
I'm going to get therapy. Well done.
Good luck.
Yeah, and but bro, also by the way, you do need more water. Your lips are chapped AF.
My girlfriend said we had to break up because her parents would never accept me. I'm from Florida, and she's from Agrabah.
She did not say Agrabah.
No, that's what she said.
I can assure you, she did not say Agrabah.
Pretty sure she did.
I'm pretty sure she didn't, because that's not a real place.
No, maybe it's Saudi Arabia?
How long have you been dating?
5 years.
And you don't know what country she's from?
Oh, no, I do. It's somewhere in Dubai. Alibaba?
Why don't you take complimentary map?
So I'm DJing this brown wedding. I want to make sure to please the crowd.
Dope. What's on your playlist?
Well, I was thinking of starting with Jay-Z featuring Punjabi MC, Beware the Boys. My best friend Miriam is 32 and she still has a curfew of 10 p.m.
What?
I know.
How did she get 10 p.m.? I'm still not allowed to work the night shift. Give me this auntie's name, please. What is this auntie's name?
He's very motivational.
Mom, stop it.
I really need some career advice from a successful Indian woman.
Well, you're in luck. Mindy Kaling's shift starts in an hour. MC.
10 billion views.
God, Mom, just stop it.
I want to learn how to do internet because I want to talk to my grandkids.
Okay, great. We'll sign you up for our OK Boomerangs class. What's your email?
NEILPATHOTMALEDOTCALM. M like Mary.
Do you still have a typewriter?
I would love to introduce you to my son. He's very motivational.
Jay, it's your mom again.
Welcome to the Brown Bar.
I'll take a rum and soda.
Not that kind of bar.
Excuse me, didn't this used to be a Bed Bath and Beyond?
Yeah, but now it's the Brown Bar.
Okay, because you're causing a disturbance.
Oh, I'm just part-time.
Okay, I'm reporting this.
My manager isn't here.
Hello, yes. I'd like to report some suspicious behavior.
Thank you so much for watching. watching this video. Shout out to every single person that was in it. The links are in the description. Collabs of Christmas. Yo, don't expect too many more. I don't got no time. But the last collab was right.
All right. That was my little dose of fun stuff for the people on the call. So I know everyone is muted right now. I'm going to go ahead and unmute people. If you have any questions for Melanie or myself, whether it's on food, fun, and meditation, now's your chance. And if you don't, that is totally okay. Laura, thank you for sending that video to me, by the way. All right.
Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so next week we have stress management part 2, which is about how do you take care of yourself in terms of self-care. So I think we're going to have one of our massage therapists talk about things that you can do to release tension in certain muscles in your body. And then we're going to talk a little bit about other things that we can do for self-care, whether it's foam rolling, stretching, heating pads, things like that. So trying to keep things fresh, keep people in the forefront of their mind as we get, worrying about all the other stuff that we don't have control over. At least we have control over this. So
Keeping some good posture when you're working at home and some home office ergonomics.
Awesome. Cool. Melanie, you good?
Well, yeah.
All right. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.